Thank you, Lupus and Lepis, for the tag at Hero. Hey, terrible news for RWBY. RWBY, official RWBY, says you want it, tag it. Greenlight Volume 10. So hold up, you're telling me Volume 10 is not even greenlit? They're not even working on it? Like, it's just not a thing? Oh my gosh. All right, let's check the tweet out, get the full context here, because it was linked in response to all this. So, wow, that's actually a lot to go through. Okay. The cast and crew that have made 10 years of RWBY possible. Then they say RWBY Volume 9 Home Entertainment releasing on digital and Blu-ray. They link back to that too. Link back to some plushes or something. Weiss and Yang, U2s. Okay. In celebration of RTX, we're doing 35% off RWBY Arrow Fell. Okay. DC/RWBY, excuse me. All right. More promotion for like the next Justice League RWBY crossover thing. More of that, I think. I'm just kind of going quick through here, obviously. We can't show you what we showed them, but there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Okay. And then they say, yeah, you want it? Tag it. Greenlight Volume 10. It's crazy. Look at the responses here. You got people like doing the hashtag and all that. But then there's this one. I was going to go to RTX this year. Glad I didn't. I would have been ticked if I spent all that money. And on the 10th anniversary of RWBY, this is what we get while countless spinoffs no one asked for gets pushed ahead. We have been tweeting this for months. Yeah, it's a fair point. Almost unbelievable, like, what the frick they've been doing with RWBY over at RT. Weird. Like, for literal years, RWBY fans have pretty much all agreed that, like, one thing that would be awesome is, like, a Team Stark Prologue, but no, there's, like, all this random other stuff that they do instead. And then apparently they don't even actually have Volume 10 greenlit. Some more comments. It pains me that such a beloved show, my favorite show, needs such a huge community push to have hope to continue. Please greenlight Volume 10. Warner Brothers, I know you want to use the RWBY franchise to roll out crossovers, but why don't we finish up the original show? Gotta be honest, no greenlight for Volume 10 at RTX is an omen for the future of the series. If they need to rally their whole fan base to spam a hashtag for the upper management to realize there's still interest in the series, it means the numbers on Crunchyroll were not good enough. Check out this Reddit post about the Volume 10 greenlight thing. RWBY is going to hibernation, isn't it? I mean, it'll probably survive the next few years doing crossovers for whatever WB wants, and some fans will keep the candle lit. Best case scenario, we're looking at another Young Justice, which took 6 years to return. Dude, Volume 9 took, what, 2.5, 3 years? I think almost 3 years to come out. And now it's like, well, we got 6 years till Volume 10, if it ever comes out, apparently. Just some speculation, but still, man, that's crazy. Another Redditor saying there are two things this could mean. One is that they are legitimately horrifically desperate. WB is threatening to cut them off, and they need an outpouring of fan support to not have the show be canceled. Two, they know it'll eventually be greenlit after they finish post-production on the second jail crossover, and this is just them desperately trying to remain relevant. Edited, didn't know the pound sign, made things bold. I wouldn't be surprised if WB is holding the green light at gunpoint, waiting to see how well the jail crossover does. Probably explains why they want a fan push, because I'm guessing Part 1 did mediocre. To be honest, I'm also of the opinion that they have been greenlit for Volume 10, but just can't say for whatever reason. Oh, so they're just lying to people then, I guess? That's great. You don't start working on something if it's going to be axed, as that's a lot of wasted time and resources. Just crowdfund at this point. The absolute state. Oof, they're screwed and need an angel investor, even if they get renewed. I have a feeling they're going to rush to the ending. Well, that's not worrying at all, because see or feel the sarcasm like oozing out of that comment. RWBY fans have been using that hashtag for months to radio silence. And now wait, what? That hashtag's been around for months? Really? And now Rooster Teeth expects we can help keep the show alive? They are expecting us to convince a multi-million corporation that has been making changes and cuts to keep a show that they probably don't see as a top priority. There's no chance this will happen. Oh, dang. Wait, this person thinks like the whole volume... Like, this person thinks RWBY's just done then, right? There's no chance that'll happen? No chance of Volume 10? Wow. It's interesting because this is the main RWBY subreddit, and usually people are not like as negative on the main RWBY. It's not necessarily negative. They're just, let me rephrase. A lot of people in the main RWBY subreddit are in complete denial about anything even slightly negative about RWBY. And when I say negative, I'm also talking about like objective facts that are just about the bad business of Rooster Teeth. Like a lot of people in the main RWBY subreddit don't admit those things. We'll call you a hater if you bring them up. We'll act like you're one of the worst people around if you so much as bring up the many business mistakes that Rooster Teeth has made, as well as their overt corruption and bigotry. which is interesting because a lot of people on the main RWBY subreddit claim to be against bigotry, but then they like stand Rooster Teeth to a high degree, which is really weird. But anyways, let's keep reading some comments. We can't show you what we showed them. Well, see, that's the funny thing. You can. Maybe not if contracts are involved. Yeah, if there's NDAs involved, they can't. Colossally stupid move. It'll get uploaded on YouTube anyways. They might as well do it officially. Oh, let me scroll it for you. So here's the other thing about contracts. You can negotiate them. Like, they didn't have to sign, like, hypothetically, if that is the case, they did not have to sign a contract that limited who they can show it to. So that's still, like, on them for that. Anyways. So freaking Red vs. Blue and Camp can get a new season, but RWBY, we have to beg for it? Joke. See the comments on that one. At least Red vs. Blue is finally ending after this next season. It needed to end a long time ago. Also, to be fair, those two shows have always been cheap to produce. RWBY's more expensive. RWBY is 75% aiming camera and video game. It's monumentally less expensive to produce. Okay. This one says, lol, they're desperate. I wasn't going to comment anything on the panel post, so I wouldn't come out as a jerk spreading conspiracy theories, but this only confirms it. Crunchyroll has no interest in RWBY. It was a middling release that stuck around the top 40, so of course they wouldn't be very interested in spending more money to fund something to get the same kind of return as a middle-of-the-road anime they'd only need the license for, which is obviously cheaper. You dug your own grave, RT. Time to lie in it. Another comment saying, or excuse me, response saying, having 1/3 of the fan base obsessed with destroying the show and denigrating anyone who dares to publicly like it probably doesn't help. I don't think that's like necessarily accurate. That says that's not the fan base, that is the hate them. True. Okay. The hate them is really overused though. Like, once again, let me make a disclaimer first. So first of all, I am seeing more reasonable takes in this post than I've seen on the main RWBY subreddit in a while. Like, there's actually people here criticizing RT, which is, again, is generally a rare thing, if not something you never really see on the main RWBY subreddit. So I'll give credit where credit's due on that point. However, the comment talking about the hate them and all that, it's just a bit ridiculous. That word gets thrown around so loosely. Like, if you, once again, so much as even criticize any of the completely, if you have any even completely justified criticism of RWBY, some people just label you hate them, which is weird because it's like, bro, I barely talk about RWBY. I haven't even seen the latest volume yet. Like, I'll eventually watch volume 9 when I feel like I want to, but I don't care enough about RWBY to even watch that, let alone be a part of a hate them. I simply got tagged to this and it's news, so I'm talking about it. But they'll label me like part of the hate them, or they'll label you part of the hate them for simply watching this video. And it's like, obviously that's a ridiculous thing. So that's when the RWBY fandom gets really, really weird. But again, I will give some credit where credit's due because you are actually seeing some reasonable takes on the main RWBY subreddit here, which, yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's end with these set of comments. Why is this comment section filled with so many people talking about how there shouldn't be Volume 10? Response, nobody is saying that there shouldn't be a Volume 10. People are just saying that the likelihood of a Volume 10 is decreasing with each passing day. That's so crazy to think about. Like, it's the fact that people seem to be leaning towards RWBY not actually getting an ending as opposed to actually getting an ending is pretty, like, insane. If you've been following the show for years, like, it's kind of like, whoa, wow. Like, out of all the outcomes for RWBY, we're living in the universe, to meme around a little bit, we're living in the universe where, like, we got the worst possible outcome for it. It's crazy stuff, man. Continuing. Another response says, that is absolutely not the vibe I'm getting in this comment section whatsoever. Someone else saying, I've come to believe this subreddit is very negative or just has an overall sense of hopelessness. Response, if they're having a negative reaction to a show your support tweet at what is essentially a show's pep rally, then they just want to be negative. No, they're just being realistic. Like, it's bad. It's not good. Anyone who likes RWBY will see this news and think that the news is bad. It's not being negative. It's just a legitimate concern people have. Like, come on now. Don't be so weird about it all, man. Like, it's not good. It's not a good look. And for people that want to see RWBY like actually get an ending, of course they're going to be a bit negative about this because it's negative news. It's not a positive thing. It's not like they said, hey, Volume 10's greenlit. No, that's like the opposite of that, man. They're like, this is not greenlit apparently, unless you believe the theory that it's already greenlit and they're just doing this for like marketing, which in of itself would be really desperate to like lie to their fan base and gaslight them like that for marketing purposes. Either way, it's really bad. Let me also end by expanding on like what I said. I don't really care about RWBY anymore. Like, I had a fleeting care for RWBY for the last number of years. Like, I mostly don't care about it anymore. I would prefer, though, like, if I had a say in it, I would prefer that it ended on a good note, that it actually got an ending, and that, like, overall the fans were happy with it and all that. I would prefer that as opposed to, like a bad ending or, like, no ending, like, no Volume 10 or anything. So, like, while I don't care that much, it's still just, like, kind of sad that this is where it's all ended up. So that's all I got to say on this one, man. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate you and your time. I'll see you there, and in the next segment on the way.